like that because I think the self-care aspect of it and putting yourself first, there's so much guilt around what you do that. And if I look back at like myself and my career, right, I was actually talking to a young student yesterday about this, and he said, what made you move from Newport to, from New York to Newport? And I said, the first half of my career, I really appreciated New York City and the hustle of New York City and what that did for me. And I just remember how hard I worked. And New York is that, the word for New York is ambition, and it just doesn't stop. And, but then I really thought myself after the pandemic and everything else that, in this next phase of my life, it's not about like hustling so much in that kind of capacity where I'm staying up all night, putting a proposal together, putting a deck together, and then I'm showing up to my teams like, here's how hard I worked, here's how everything is, but I'm tired and I'm exhausted. And it just was an aha moment that I needed to actually show up very, very differently as a executive and as a leader, where if I've taken care of myself and I've put in the investment and the time to be good, to feel good, and work smarter, right? In terms of maximizing my time and showing up to my teams, not haggard, not exhausted, but in the best mindset to really drive that kind of productivity forward, not feeling haggard like I've hustled all night. It totally changes the game and the dynamic of my teams and how I've showed up. And that was really more of what I was seeking, was a little bit of that balance. And I think New York to me it never stopped. Every single conversation that I've had was always about business, and there wasn't really a whole personal thing. You go to some event and the first question is like, well, what do you do? And California is so different that way. I kind of like that business aspect of it, where I didn't even, getting to know you both was not even about like, oh, what's your title? What do you do? It was just so much of it is like you and I were sitting by a pool. We're just really just talking. It just, you get to know people as people first before you start to really think of the business aspect. So it's a little bit of a shift. And for me, it's a little bit of a mindset shift as well from how you do business and kind of like that grind of how you do that. And I think that that's super important for other people to also hear, not just because when you're in transition, but around how best to show up by investing in yourself in everything that you're doing, whether you're an entrepreneur or you're working for another company.